Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about the future of medicine. We're moving away from this sort of shotgun approach that just blasts everything in the body and toward creating these microscopic, smart missiles that only hit their intended target.
So let's just start with a big question. What if we could design drugs that only activate exactly where and when they're needed? Imagine a treatment that could literally hunt down a disease, deliver its payload, and leave all your healthy cells completely untouched, pretty much getting rid of side effects. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we need to understand the fundamental problem with how most medicine works right now. Then we'll get into the really cool stuff, the incredible world of engineered polymers that scientists are developing to solve that very problem.
Okay, so whenever you take a pill or get an injection, your body is sent on what scientists actually call a medical roller coaster. And, this roller coaster effect is the core problem that researchers are working so hard to fix. Here's how that ride works. Right after you take a dose, the drug concentration in your system just spikes. And that peak can be so high that it starts causing all those unwanted side effects. Then, as your body processes it, the concentration drops and drops until it falls below the level where it's even effective anymore, which is why you have to take another dose. And this chart really brings the whole problem to life, doesn't it? That jagged line shows how conventional drugs often push the concentration way up into the toxic level. That's where the side effects live. Then, before your next dose, it plummets down into the ineffective level. The whole goal, the dream, is to keep the drug concentration stable right in that middle bar, the therapeutic window, where the medicine does its job perfectly without causing any harm. So let's talk about the solution. To get our medicine off this wild roller coaster, scientists are turning to something pretty amazing: engineered polymers that can basically act like cruise control, but for your cells. And the key concept here is called controlled release. Instead of that big spike and then a crash, the idea is to release the drug at a steady, predetermined rate. This keeps the concentration right in that perfect therapeutic sweet spot for a much, much longer time. And when you put them side by side, the difference is just dramatic. On one side, you've got conventional delivery with all its hassles, multiple doses, high risk of side effects. But on the other, you've got controlled delivery, fewer doses, minimal risks, and maybe the most important part of all, a release that is totally programmable. Now, of course, there's a trade-off. As you can see here, the design complexity for these controlled release systems is high. It's not easy to build these things, but in exchange for that complexity, we get this incredible level of programmability and safety that was, frankly, never possible before. And the real heroes of this whole story, the things that make all of this possible, are these engineered polymers. I want you to think of them as tiny, programmable vehicles designed specifically to carry a drug payload and then release it slowly and steadily over time. But it gets even cooler. Seriously. These aren't just dumb little containers slowly leaking out medicine. Scientists are making them smart, able to literally sense and react to specific signals inside your body. So a smart polymer is basically a material that can feel its surroundings. It's designed to undergo a really dramatic change. I'm talking dissolving, swelling up, or just breaking apart, but only in response to a very specific trigger in its immediate environment. For example, one of the simplest triggers is just temperature. You can inject a drug that's mixed with a polymer that's a liquid at room temp, but the second it warms up to your body's temperature, bam, it transforms into a gel. And this creates a little drug depot right where it's needed that can slowly release medicine over days or even weeks. Another awesome trigger is pH, acidity. And this one is a total game changer for cancer treatment. See, it turns out that tumors are just a little bit more acidic than healthy tissues. So you can design a polymer vehicle that stays completely sealed and stable everywhere else in the body, but as soon as it drifts into that acidic tumor environment, it breaks open and dumps its chemotherapy payload right where you want it. But the most precise triggers, the real sharpshooters, are biomolecules. Scientists can design polymers that only break apart when they come into contact with a specific enzyme or molecule, like glutathione, that's found in much higher concentrations inside a cancer cell than outside. It's like a lock that requires a key only found within the diseased cell itself. It's incredible. So now we have a smart container that knows when to open. Awesome. But how in the world does it know where to go in the first place? Let's look at how these tiny vehicles actually navigate the body to hit their target. You have to remember, navigating the huge landscape of the human body to find one specific group of cells is a massive, massive challenge. So to solve it, scientists use this brilliant 1-2 punch. First, passive targeting, then active targeting.
So here's the mission profile. First, the polymer vehicle is designed to be stealthy, to circulate in the bloodstream for a long time and evade the immune system. Second, it uses passive targeting. It turns out tumors have really leaky blood vessels, so the polymer naturally starts to build up there. Third, it uses active targeting. The vehicle has these things called ligands on its surface that act like little homing beacons, and they physically lock on to specific proteins found only on cancer cells. And finally, once it's docked, the smart release is triggered by the local environment, like that acidity we were just talking about.
So, what's the end game here? Where is all of this going? Well, the ultimate goal is to combine all of these incredible technologies into a single, all-in-one platform for truly personalized medicine. And this brings us to a brand new field called theragnosis. It's basically a mashup of the words therapy and diagnosis. And the whole idea is to create a single system that can both find a disease and treat it, all at the same time.
Imagine this, a polymer vehicle that not only carries a drug, but also carries a tiny imaging agent. So it could deliver the therapy and at the exact same time light up on a scan, showing doctors precisely where the drug went and how well it's working, all in real time. This would let them adjust treatments on the fly for every single patient.
Ultimately, the ambition of this entire field is to get beyond this one-size-fits-all approach to medicine. It's really all about achieving the incredible level of precision that's captured in this quote from the source material, getting the right dose of the right drug for the right indication for the right patient at the right time. And look, this is far from science fiction. This is the future that's being actively built in laboratories around the world today. It really makes you wonder, as we continue to merge material science and engineering with biology, what is healthcare going to look like when every single treatment is perfectly and uniquely tailored just to you?